intentionally when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. I was growing a human inside of me.
She actually admits in the interview that during her pregnancy, she hid, and that one word alone stopped people in their tracks. Hiding isn't something most people casually connect with pregnancy, especially not in public life, so that comment instantly raised eyebrows and set off quiet alarms online. Once that clip started circulating, the questions came fast. People began asking whether Erika Kirk could have quietly placed children for adoption if a surrogate situation ever exposed a fake pregnancy claim. That sounds wild at first, but here's the key part. It didn't come out of thin air. For months, people weren't accusing her of anything. They were just saying something felt off, like pieces weren't lining up the way they should. No outrage, no attacks, just confusion. And now, many think Erika may be done pretending everything is normal because the cracks are starting to show.
She actually admits in the interview that during her pregnancy she hid, which is a weird thing to associate with pregnancy.
The internet has a habit of zooming in when stories don't fully add up. Once that happens, every detail gets re-examined, every timeline gets checked, and suddenly, people are asking questions that were ignored before, especially when a story might not have been real to begin with. And before anyone jumps in screaming that this is just gossip, it's important to explain how this even started. This wasn't born out of hate or jealousy. It began with people looking for simple proof and finding absolutely nothing. That's when someone pointed out something that felt obvious in hindsight. We've never actually seen Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk's kids, or at least there's no clear public image trail that most people can find. Now, that realization made a lot of folks sit back and say, wait a minute. From there, things got uncomfortable fast, not because anyone was digging for dirt, but because they were just looking for something normal. One photo, one clip, one moment where Erika Kirk is clearly pregnant and visibly expecting.
You know, I had been to Romania and teamed up with the Marine Corps to open up and sustain an orphanage with 75 beautiful children.
And that's where the story starts feeling strange. The deeper people looked, the more obvious it became that there was nothing there. No candid shots at events, no random footage, no interviews where she's clearly pregnant and glowing. Nothing. The only thing that ever surfaced was an ultrasound image. And let's be honest, an ultrasound alone doesn't prove much by itself. Anyone can post one, and without context, it doesn't tell a full story. Then people noticed another detail that made the situation feel even messier. Now, by the time that ultrasound image appeared, Erika was already married to Charlie, which didn't match what people expected based on earlier timelines. That's when the conversation shifted from curiosity to serious side-eye. Not accusations, not conclusions, but real questions that still haven't been answered. He was very much in the picture at the time, which is why people found this next detail impossible to ignore.
Okay, so Erika Kirk posted a video, and in it she has a photo of her ultrasound. She's kind of showing her pregnancy, and something that stood out to me was in the top corner it listed her as Erika Franzve and not Erika Kirk.
The name on the ultrasound wasn't Erika Kirk. It was Erika Franz, her maiden name, and that immediately made folks pause. Erika Kirk later posted a video where she shows a photo of the ultrasound, almost like proof she was pregnant. But what stood out wasn't the image itself. It was the name in the corner. Instead of Erika Kirk, it listed Erika Franz. And in some versions, people even noticed variations like Erika Bronze, which only added to the confusion. Now sure, there could be an explanation for that. Medical records don't always update instantly. Names can lag behind paperwork. That part alone wouldn't normally mean much. But when people are already questioning timelines, details like this only make the situation feel messier. And then there's the part that really made people stop scrolling.
Has allegedly 2 kids that we seem to never see who may or may not exist. They're 2 kids who are not seeing their father again. She doesn't think that's a sacred time.
Erika has openly said that she hid during her pregnancy. She described that time as sacred, said she wanted to stay out of sight, eat burgers in peace, and enjoy the moment privately. And look, plenty of people choose privacy during pregnancy. That's not unusual. No one is knocking that choice. But here's where the irony smacks hard. After Charlie was unalived, that privacy vanished completely. Suddenly, Erika wasn't hiding at all. She was everywhere. Interviews, podcasts, panels, public appearances, back-to-back and non-stop. So people started asking the obvious question. You disappeared when you were supposedly pregnant, but the moment tragedy hits, you're front and center? Once people stopped accepting the "I was just being private" explanation, the surrogate theory popped back up. And not in a messy or malicious way, but in a "this actually explains a lot" way. And to be very clear, surrogacy itself is not the issue here at all. Nobody cares if someone uses a surrogate. That's not controversial, and it never has been. What's making people uncomfortable is the idea of pretending to be pregnant when you weren't.
Wow, it just dawned on me. We've never seen Charlie Kirk and Erika Kirk's kids, or at least I haven't.
That's the line that changes everything. Once that possibility was back on the table, the internet did what it always does. It went back and rechecked everything with fresh eyes. Old clips, old photos, old timelines. And that's when people noticed something else that felt strange all over again. We've never actually seen the kids' faces, ever. Not clearly, not publicly, not even casually. And once that realization hit, the questions only got louder. Every photo that exists of the kids tells the same story. Faces covered, blurred out, turned away, hidden from the camera completely. So when people tried to compare anything, they weren't looking at facial features at all. They were stuck judging basics like size, hair, posture, and overall development. That lack of clear images already had people uneasy. And then things took a sharp turn. A side-by-side image went viral, and that's when the situation exploded.
Father, when you become a mother, how are you raising your kids? Are you taking responsibility, or are you giving them a device and saying, go down that rabbit hole?
The post claimed the babies were close in age, just weeks apart, not months. But the visual told a very different story. When people looked closely, they immediately noticed the mismatch. One baby appeared bigger, more developed, with darker hair and an older look overall. The other appeared smaller, lighter-haired, and clearly younger. That's when people stopped and said, hold on, because according to the public timeline, this was supposed to be the same baby, same child, same age, same story. Now suddenly people were asking questions they didn't even want to ask at first. Are these two different kids? Were older photos reused? Was there a switch made for a photo moment with the assumption no one would notice? No one is claiming they have definitive answers. That part matters. But when visuals don't line up with the story being told, my people are going to question everything, especially when there are allegedly two children who are never seen clearly, who may or may not exist publicly, and who, by the timeline, will never see their father again.
I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. I was growing a human inside of me. I want to enjoy eating my In-N-Out burger and my hot fudge sundae. That's what I want to do.
That alone makes people pause. And here's where the conversation shifts again. If pregnancy was considered sacred time worth hiding for, then why doesn't that same logic apply now? These are infants. This is early childhood. This is time that most parents fiercely protect. Yet Erika has been everywhere. Podcasts, interviews, panels, back-to-back media appearances with barely a pause. That nonstop visibility made people ask a very simple question. If she's constantly on the move doing interviews and public appearances, then who is actually with the kids? Because parenting, especially with very young babies, is not something you clock in and out of. It takes time. It takes presence. It takes being there when no cameras are rolling. And once that question hit, the discomfort only grew louder. And from the outside looking in, a lot of people are saying they just aren't seeing that level of hands-on parenting right now.
We haven't been dating long. There are some key things that are like the pillars of our relationship, one of them obviously being our faith.
When you become a mother or a father, people expect to see some sign of responsibility, some sign of presence, not perfection, but effort. Naturally, that leads to bigger questions. How are the kids actually being raised? Who's with them day to day? Are they getting real attention, or are they being handed a screen and told to disappear into it? That's not an accusation. It's the kind of question that comes up when visibility and answers are missing. What makes this even more confusing is that the public doesn't even know what the kids look like. Their faces have never been shown, not once. And because of that, people are pointing out something uncomfortable but realistic. If custody had changed hands at any point, no one would even know. And yes, that's where the speculation starts to feel uneasy.
You know, I had been to Romania and teamed up with the Marine Corps to open up and sustain an orphanage with 75 beautiful children.
Another theory began trending online, and this one pulled in a completely different direction: Romania. People started asking whether one or both children could have come from Romania through adoption. That theory picked up traction after certain comments began circulating online, and suddenly it wasn't just a fringe thought anymore. When people mention access, they're pointing to Erika's foundation work and her international involvement, which has already been questioned in the past. That context matters because it explains why this idea even entered the conversation. Now let's be very clear here. There have also been rumors floating around online attempting to link Erika to a trafficking ring in Romania through her foundation. Those claims have not been confirmed, and there is no solid proof backing them up. That distinction is critical. However, because of everything else surrounding her right now, the gaps, the secrecy, the timeline issues, those rumors resurfaced and people understand why they did, even if they aren't proven. And then there's another question people keep circling back to. Does anyone actually know the kids' names? That's what's throwing so many people off. Not a single detail has ever slipped. No accidental mention, no offhand comment, nothing. Someone summed it up perfectly in a viral comment. Yeah, and that observation is the part people can't shake. Everything feels tightly controlled, like a narrative that's been carefully managed from start to finish. When you stack that on top of all the other unanswered questions, people stop calling it coincidence, especially because Erika has already faced accusations of dishonesty in the past. For a lot of people, that history makes it harder to take anything she says at face value now, and that's where the skepticism really sets in. For example, Erika has publicly claimed more than once that she never dated anyone before Charlie, that he was her first serious relationship. That statement became a core part of her public image. But later on, people discovered that wasn't actually true. There were other relationships before Charlie, including JT Massey. Once that information came out, it forced people to reevaluate what they thought they knew. Because when something that basic turns out to be false, it makes people wonder what else isn't adding up. Then there's the alcohol issue. Erika has repeatedly said she's never consumed alcohol, ever, not once. That's been part of her carefully crafted image. But when people went back and looked at older footage, especially from her reality TV days, the story didn't hold up. There are clips of her holding drinks, party scenes, social settings where alcohol is clearly present. It's right there on video. And once people notice those contradictions, they can't unsee them. From there, the skepticism only grows. There have also been long-standing claims that much of what Erika presents publicly is an act. And some people have even alleged that she's used tear-inducing solutions before speeches to make it look like she's crying. Now, to be clear, that part has not been proven, but it's been talked about consistently for months. And when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the past false statements, the contradictions, the image control, it becomes harder and harder for people to defend her version of events right now. That's why, for a growing number of people, the surrogate theory doesn't sound outrageous anymore. To them, it actually feels more believable than the explanation they've been given. And that brings the conversation right back to the kids. Because if she wasn't honest about the pregnancy, and if she isn't as present as her public image suggests, then it's not shocking that people are asking whether the children are even with her at this point. Nothing has been confirmed. That matters. But the silence, paired with her history, is doing her no favors. At this stage, people aren't even focused on rumors anymore. They're focused on what isn't being said. And until there's clarity, the speculation isn't going anywhere. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know where you land on this. Do you think people are reading too much into the inconsistencies, or do you think the unanswered questions are impossible to ignore? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so others can join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.